Daniel from SidestepBoxing. We got Keith OneTime Thurman. Our first question to you, man. We know you have an extensive amateur career. I mean, you've got like 101 wins, 76 knockouts, national champion. And I know that you work extensively a lot with the amateur community. What does that mean to you personally as far as helping these kids out? And what is some of the advice that you give them that they aspire to be just like you?
You know, it's just an honor and a blessing to be where I am today in the sport of boxing, you know. I started boxing at 7 years old, you know, traveling throughout the whole state of Florida. My trainer, Ben Getty, used to take me sometimes to West Palm Beach just for sparring, Fort Myers, Fort Pierce, just for sparring, not even for competitions, man. And I used to get my butt whooped early, man. I was getting beat up before I ever started knocking people out and became the fighter that I am today. So, like I said, it's just an honor and blessing to be where I am, and I like to give back. You know, Ben Getty helped me from the age of 7 to the age of 20 when he passed away. And he left me a tremendous amount of knowledge, and he told me at the age of 14 that I had what it takes to be a world champion. And I see some of these kids, and I work with plenty of the kids here in our gym here at St. Pete Boxing, and I just tell them the basics, man. Don't forget the basics. I went through my whole amateur career focusing on my power. After 1 year of being a professional, I went back to practicing the jab. Just the jab, with my hands up, just the jab in front of a mirror at this pace right here. And I was already boxing for 12, 13 years, and I went back to the jab. So just knowing that it took me 13 years to develop a legitimate jab, a world-class jab, I always remind the fighters the basics. Keep your hands up at all times, and don't forget about the jab. Don't forget about the straight punches. Practice the straight punches. You know, I tell them that certain world champions throughout the history of boxing were world champions, and all that they did was have good defense and a nice 1-2. Yep. That's it. That's all that it needed to be a world champion. So if they could do it, how come you can't? Right. So I believe in the youth.
You lost twice to Demetrius Andrade, apparently.
3 times.
3 times? Oh man, come on! I was giving you the benefit of the doubt.
I beat him the first time we ever fought. All right. Before he grew to 6'2".
All right. Do you think if you were to make your move up to 154, you think you would like to show what's up on the professional level?
Oh man, that'd be a dream come true, man. I remember the day that I lost to him, the last time we competed in the U.S. Olympic trials, in the finals. It was me and him. The winner was gonna go to China in the 2008 Olympic Games. Right. And he beat me on points, you know, technical points in a 4-round fight, 2.5-minute rounds at that time. I said to myself when I was walking out of the ring, as I was taking my hand wraps off, I said, I believe my words at that time was, I'll never fight Demetrius Andrade again for less than $100,000. Right. You know, because I knew we were world-class fighters and that one day we would be making big money. We're both well over those paychecks right now, himself and I, and it would be $1 million fight if we ever stepped in the ring again. And it'd be a tremendous fight, and I would look forward to throwing blows with him as a professional, and one day it might happen.
You spent a lot of years with the late Mr. Getty, worked with a lot of professional boxers even before you. Now that you're under Dan Birmingham, what are some of the things that Dan Birmingham has, let's just say, been able to refine and to sharpen up as far as your boxing skills are concerned? And what are some of the things that he's been able to teach you that's new?
Well, really, we just kept the game plan, you know. Me and Ben, we were starting to refine my boxing skills right before he passed away. You know, it was with him that I went back to the jab. I was sparring people in the gym with jab only. I was sparring multiple sparring partners, and I was only able to use my jab only. We were working on the Sugar Ray Leonard triple jab circling out, you know, and we were slightly getting into more footwork. So once when Ben passed away, you know, Dan just took everything that I had and we just kept working on it. I've been working with Dan since I was 14 years old anyway. Yeah. As an amateur, me and Dan were working together. He just never went to the national tournaments with me because he had his hands full with Winky Wright and Jeff Lacey, right, Chad Dawson, and a whole other handful of professional fighters that he was dealing with. But as soon as I turned pro, he was the second when Ben was my first, when Ben was my head. So when Ben passed away, Dan simply just filled in the position. position. And really, you know, he just keeping me focused. You know, he's got a lot of knowledge. He understands the sport. He understands what it's like working with champions. So, you know, he just helps me keep a cool level head, reassuring that I got the skills, I got the talent. You know, he'll tell you himself, you know, he's really there just as like a friendly reminder, as an extra pair of eyes. You know, I've been boxing for 19 years. I got a lot of wisdom in the sport. So Dan just reassures, you know, in the Carlos Quintana fight, if you watch the fight, you'll see that in the corner, Dan was just telling me, you know, he's keeping his head real low. You need to start lifting it up or throw your punches to the body and to the chest more, you know. And I said, I know, because I was missing and I was aware of that. But he's that extra pair of eyes to reinsure. If I see his head low, I come in the corner and Dan goes, his head's low, then you know his head is low, you know. And it's just reinsurance, you know. He can't take your power. Sit down, press him, make him move back, you know. You're outboxing him, keep moving. You know, those are the advices that Dan gives me. He just helps me do what I need to do so that we win the fight hands down. You know?
1 minute. Serious.